the Democrats have lost over 1,000 state legislative seats over the past 8 years. They've lost the White House to a guy who nobody would even hire as their CEO in a publicly traded company. They've lost over a dozen Senate seats. They've lost over 60 House seats over the past 8 years. More Republicans control more House seats in the U.S. House of Representatives than any time since, I think, 1928. Republicans control more governorships since 1920. And the Democrats still don't know who they are and are still having trouble raising money. What is wrong with this party?
It's always hard to compete with the megaphone of a president, but when your party is lacking leaders, big ideas, and a strategy, it's impossible. It's impossible. Yeah. And the president, for all of his polling problems, for all of his legislative problems, he's such a dominant figure in the news. It takes an epic storm to wipe him off the front pages. But I don't think the Democrats, if you look at what they've gotten done since Election Day, they are raising money, as we discussed the other day, for House races. They're recruiting somewhat successfully there. But I don't think you can point to too many things beyond that that suggests that they've made progress as a brand from what happened to them on Election Day.
Booing and hissing at Trump is not a brand. Big ideas, big personalities behind them, and a strategy is what we need desperately, anyhow.
And actually being inclusive. I know.
I wrote that down, too.
I know, and this just shows you the trouble Democrats are in. Charlie, every time I say, and I can even say it as an independent now, so it's not like even, they can even say, Republicans saying it. I say they need a message for all Americans. They need to stop with the balkanization of America and a message for all Americans. Then suddenly somebody will tweet at me or somebody will say, email to me, oh, you're just being a racist.
Oh,
I go, wait,
yeah,
I'm being a racist? I'm being a racist because I'm saying you need a unifying message?
Well, the good news is that Hillary Clinton's finally coming to Wisconsin on her book tour.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
How much is she charging?
I have no idea.
No, actually, I think there was a charge.
Oh yeah, no. It's I won't be able to afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at least she found Wisconsin. At least she was able to find, you know, the upper Midwest. But you know, you're right. It's just like almost every single time you think, you know, here is the vital center. There's that moment. What happens is the Democrats decide, like, hey, you know, let's embrace single-payer health care. Let's double down on identity politics. And they kind of wonder, you know, why. It's almost like there's something genetically that they have to offend centrists, make it more toxic.
Yeah.
And frankly, you know, Republicans still have that going for them. They're still counting on that.
And it's not just Republicans that get this. It's like, I keep going back to it, at the Democratic National Convention, Joe Biden, the sitting vice president of the United States, along with Ed Rendell, said, you know, we have to have a unifying message. We're going to lose Pennsylvania. We're going, and they said, we're not going to win our base. We're not going to pull out the union members that we need to pull out to win this thing unless we get a better, more unifying message. And guess what? Rendell, who would have known? Rendell and Joe Biden, two Pennsylvania guys.
Biden, by the way. I really am.
I mean, I would just point out that it's sort of hard to say with one hand that the Democrats need to be more centrist and more appealing to a broader range of the political spectrum, and at the same time cite the Democratic Convention and last year's election as where that would have worked. I mean, the most energy, the most fundraising that happened last year was through Bernie Sanders, was through a hard left position on a lot of different things, including health care.
Which will win primaries for you all the time.
Right, but I think one of the things that's under-recognized
and lose general elections
is that there is an overlap between the racial demographics of the United States and the partisan demographics of the United States. And in a moment when race is a very big political issue that motivates a lot of people in a lot of ways, it's important to remember that the Republican Party is primarily white and most African Americans are Democrats, and there is an overlap there between racial politics and partisan politics.
Well, then why did so many people who in Wisconsin, and 1 out of 5 maybe in Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, that voted for Barack Obama 8 years ago, vote for Donald Trump this year?
But a bigger issue in the upper Midwest was the fact that African American voters turned out far less heavily than they had.
But that wasn't about racism. That was about the fact that Hillary Clinton, and Al Sharpton said this from the beginning. Right. Hillary Clinton does not energize the same base.
But this was my original point.
What a surprise.
That is a surprise.
Yeah.
Who,
All right.
who could have seen that
What a
coming?
surprise, yeah.